Hello, and welcome to another video. In this video, we cover Arsenal and Gunnery. At the top left, you'll see the set bonuses that I recommend. There is 4, so do take this with a grain of salt. Some of these aren't as good as the others, and also there is a playstyle kind of thing going into effect here. So for example, if you're playing solo and you know you can get kills, Second Wind is incredibly useful for this class because your mobility is definitely lacking, and it's a very nice thing to have. Plus the healing is always nice, so you don't have to pop your healing defensives a little bit sooner than you would like to. The random charge chance is not very good, 10% for every 5 seconds, or a 10% chance to get 1 stack every 5 seconds. Doesn't really feel good because most of our damage is a single target, and our chances to proc this isn't that high compared to IO or Bodyguard, which is the healing and the dot spec. It'd be much better on those, a little bit less useful on our spec. However, it's still not a bad choice if you have it already. Stimulated, which is the 5% mastery, is pretty nice, a little extra critical. That's always nice, especially if you're going so much accuracy like I am. I personally use the top 2. However, I can totally see dropping stimulated for Second Wind. That would definitely help in a lot of situations. Going into our stats, we're running 5 accuracy enhancements, 2 alacrity, and 1 augment for alacrity. This is to hit the low tier, the 1.4 GCD. And pretty much everything else is into critical. We get that extra mastery again from stimulated, not from mastery augs. And going into our talents here, this is what I personally run. There are definitely other viable choices here, but I will have the ones marked that I probably don't recommend, and I'll mark the most important one that I don't think you should really ever change. But other than that, some of this is personal choice. There's a lot of decent options here, depending on your playstyle. This is my personal playstyle. I like to hit hard. You definitely really hit hard. I'll show you in just a second. I run Burning Bright, but Primed Ignition is very good to sustain. Or for sustain, if you can ever find yourself having the chance to just cast and cast and cast, Primed Ignition will definitely be better. However, if you're finding a situation where you only get to burst and that's it, Burning Bright will just be better because it'll give you more damage in your burst window. And going on to our main combos here, you'll see the burst opener that I show here in the middle. The things on the left, Missile Blast is just an instant ability they can use to finish off people if you ever get into that situation or you just need to damage them to stop them from capping or something. Obviously, auto attack is just as efficient for stopping capping, but if you need to finish somebody off, you probably need something a little bit stronger, so Missile Blast is really good for that. Electronet is your own judgment call. You can use this whenever you want to. The main opener, so since I don't take the double charge, I like to take the Azorb from Chafflair. We will hard cast 1 tracer before we go into supercharged gas, blazing bolts, into priming shot, into another tracer. That tracer will be instant. So 2 of these tracers will be instant. 1 will be hard casted, and we'll fit in Heatseeker into rail shot, all within the 100% armor pin window for priming shot and rail shot. Other abilities that don't hit 100% armor pin is tracer and Heatseeker. But you 100% want to make sure every single time that you use supercharged gas, you're getting you're getting priming shot and rail shot off within the duration of supercharged gas for more damage. Then on the right hand side, you'll see 3 different abilities. These are your AoE abilities. If you're taking the AoE Heatseeker, I would highly recommend, start using Fusion Missile just a little bit more. It is a nice AoE. And it does leave an elemental dot, if I remember correctly. Death from Above is really good damage for its heat consumption, and Sweeping Gunfire isn't bad. And I'm pretty sure the reset for Blazing Bolts is still in the game for this ability. However, we don't get the empowered Blazing Bolts anymore. I do miss that. But we are hitting pretty hard again, but our sustain is way too reliant on channeling and casting. If that was to ever change, this would be really nasty. Its damage ignores a lot of everything. I hit a tank earlier for 98,000 with rail shot, or not rail shot, priming shot, and into a 70k rail shot. Because you have the 100% armor pin, it doesn't really matter who you're hitting them for a lot. You won't see Arsenal mercenaries doing crazy numbers at the end of the screen, but they can definitely kill pretty much anybody. Doesn't matter whether you're a tank or not. Do what you will with this information. Obviously, if somebody has a defense chance defensive, you basically flatline and do no damage. You basically cannot hurt them. It'd be quite literally just better for you to hit somebody else, because when somebody has defense chance, and a lot of it, most of your damage is not going to hit and you're wasting your pressure, like completely. And going into game, I'll show you the quick burst opener that I use. And you can see that I hit 130,706. That's pretty nice. Now, there's really not much to the spec, like overall. The biggest thing that I can tell you that is shared with APPT, less so Pyro PT, but more so APPT and like Tank PT, is that when you pop your Kolto, since we're not taking Super Kolto, your Kolto is only going to trigger when you're at 35%. So it's very important to probably pair it with a damage reduction defensive. And the perfect one to really pair it with is Warzone Adrenal. This gives you 15% damage reduction for 15 seconds. So complete duration of Kolto overload, you'll have damage reduction tied to it. So basically the way Kolto works is that you can pre-pop it, right? And it'll sit dormant for a whole minute. And when it procs, basically don't heal yourself unless you're 100% sure you're going to die through Kolto. You can be executed at 35% with certain abilities, so it is kind of scary. But if you have some damage reduction, you can pretty much make sure that this Kolto will last. So when it does get procced, it'll heal you, and it'll continue to heal you, and it'll start healing you faster, I guess you could say, the longer it's up. So as long as you can survive like the first 2-3 seconds, you can pretty much survive on Kolto. However, since it only lasts for 8 seconds once it's procced, you'll need to definitely pop something like Medpack or something else, or actually start healing yourself at that point. Because Kolto works in such a weird way like that, you're not really, how to put it, effectively helping yourself by overhealing yourself. Kolto is basically not going to do any healing if you actually hit over 35%. And on top of that, 35% is not the safest spot to be sitting at. So you do have to make a rather big judgment call. Overall, super easy to play. There's not very many DPS abilities, as you can see. And if you ever run into heat problems, you just need to auto attack. I know that sounds weird, but your auto attack is really not that bad. And on top of it, it brings a supercharge stack, which is nice. And another one you can do is Kolto Shot. That's another nice one to also bring supercharge stack for you. Then you also have the option to start using Heatseeker a little bit less, though I probably wouldn't recommend that. You can quite literally play the entire game without using Heatseeker at all. However, Heatseeker can hit pretty hard. Usually the main reason that you're going to overheat is that you're not paying attention to your heat thresholds and not throwing an auto attack when you need to. The main reason, again, that you're going to overheat is because you're using heat seekers a little too much, pretty much off the cooldown. And that's okay. That's completely okay to do. Obviously, if you're going to optimize your damage, that's what you want to do. But you need to make sure that you actually throw in an auto attack every now and then. And if there is ever downtime, that's going to help vent your heat, so you probably don't even have to worry about it. Obviously, if you get stunned, that's useful too. But since we can't take the talent to vent heat when you get CC'd anymore, you do have to pay attention to your heat a little bit, especially if you're free casting. Your damage plummets to almost nothing if you're messing up your heat and you're getting the free cast, so please do be mindful of that. And auto attack will fix a lot of things, so basically the threshold for heat that you want to watch out for, so I'll show you in just a second. So we're just going to spam this to build our heat really fast. Alright, this. So as soon as I go over 39, you'll see the very first time that, well, I have to keep spamming. There we go. As soon as we go under 39, we only have three bars here. This is bad heat. So anytime we hit over 39, you want to throw in an auto attack. Anytime that you think you're going to hit over 39, throw in an auto attack. And that's basically how you manage your heat on both AP pyro, and obviously shield deck, but shield deck's a little bit easier, and including IO and arsenal. But other than that, there's not really anything to the spec. If you want to learn more about its defensive management and stuff like that, I do have a video guide on that covering all defenses in the game, so you can just skip to whatever class you want to watch and figure it out from there. It does cover 4v4 and 8v8, and if you have any questions specifically about the class or the spec, just feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help.